Welcome to Chappy's Tiki Bar. Come have a drink with me and my little chihuahua Mookie. This is the St. Paddy's Day episode. On this episode of Chappy's Tiki Bar, I'm going to make an Irish coffee, green beer, a fuzzy leprechaun, then we're going to hear best tropical destination stories, and then we're off to Joyce on 4th in Calgary, Alberta. I'm going to make an Irish stew with Guinness, corned beef and cabbage, and then for breakfast we're going to have corned beef and hash, and then I'm going to have a Hawaiian Breaky with green eggs and spam. All right here on Chappy's Tiki Bar. Welcome to Chappy's Tiki Bar. This is the St. Paddy's Day edition. This is Mookie. I'm Chappy. This is my bar. So for St. Patrick's Day, I'm going to start out by making an Irish coffee. The Irish coffee is very easy. So I just have a mug, black coffee, and then the recipe calls for brown sugar. I have twin brown sugar. And then we need a good Irish whiskey. So I have some Bushmills here. Now I bought this last year at St. Patrick's Day, so I better make sure that it hasn't gone bad. So I'll just try a little bit of Bushmills here. Oh, smooth. All right. So I got the coffee, brown sugar, a little bit of Bushmills, and some whipped cream. So I just put in the whipped cream on the top there, and that's your Irish coffee. Very, very easy to make. Next up, I'm going to show you how to make green beer. Now, my great-grandfather bought the Palace Hotel in 1928, and there's a well-guarded industry secret how they get the beer green at the Palace Hotel bar. So this industry secret's been passed from generation to generation, and I finally obtained the secret. So I have a glass of beer. Are you ready for it? I have green food coloring. And there's your green beer. Okay, I got one more St. Paddy's Day drink. I'm just going to put Mookie down because she seems to be getting a little bit nervous. You did good, Mookie. She's got her green bow tie on, so she's all fancy for St. Patrick's Day. All right. Now, run along, you little scamp. All right, so the next St. Paddy's Day drink, I'm going to make a fuzzy leprechaun. So I'm going to add some ice. I got orange juice. So a fuzzy leprechaun's basically a fuzzy navel, but I'm going to add some blue curacao to it to hopefully make it green. We'll see. So I got the ice, OJ, have some pineapple juice, vodka, and I have a 1 ounce shot glass of peach schnapps. And here's my blue curacao. See if it turns green or not. Oh yeah, bright green. And then I got a lime wedge to garnish. And that is my fuzzy leprechaun. All right, now I have a Guinness beer, but I'm going to save that for my Irish stew. So coming up, I'm going to make a Guinness Irish stew and some corned beef and cabbage. Alright, so that's the veg for my Guinness Irish stew. I have some parsnips that are diced, and then onion, celery, carrot. I have a sprig of rosemary and red baby potatoes. Alright, so I'm just frying off the stew meat for my Irish stew. You see I got some good caramelization on there. So I'm searing the meat. And I'm just doing it in small batches so I can get that good brownness on the meat. So I'll take the stew meat out and put it in the slow cooker with my Guinness beer and my beef stock that I made in episode number 3. So make sure you watch episode number 3. So there's all these brown bits on the bottom of the pan. All the cooking shows say that flavor. So I'm just going to add a little bit of red wine there. And we'll get the brown bits off. So I'll just do the beef. I won't add the vegetables till later. And then I'm actually going to take the beef out of the slow cooker. I saw this on Alton Brown Good Eats. So there's something to do with the molecular structure or something scientific. When you have meat that's falling apart, you put it in the fridge and let it cool, and then you add it back to the hot stew so the meat will hold together better. So I'll put the brown bits and the red wine along in the slow cooker with the beef, the Guinness beer, and my beef stock. And I'll continue on from there. I'll probably let the beef go on low for a good 6 or 7 hours, just like I did with the corned beef. That's what the beef looked like seared. It's not cooked all the way through. And then it went into the slow cooker, and this is what it looked like when it came out of the fridge. Alright, so I got my Irish Guinness stew going. I took the veg and the liquid out of the slow cooker. I put it into a pot. So I have some baby potatoes, red potatoes. I'm cooking them separately because I have a big batch and I don't want to freeze the potatoes. So I'm just going to make the potatoes per order or per serving. And then I made a slurry, so that's just cornstarch and water. And I'm going to add that to the pot. That will thicken it up. I have some green peas. I'll just add at the very end. They're frozen, so I just add them at the very end when the heat's off, just so they warm through. I like to keep it like a vibrant green, and it'll have a nice little pop to it. And then last but not least, I took the beef out of the liquid in the slow cooker, and I put it back in the fridge. Now what that does is when the meat's falling apart, for some reason, if you put it in the fridge and cool it, it'll stay tender, but it'll retain its shape. I can't explain it, but science is real, man. So I'm just going to add the beef to the liquid that's thickening up, and we're going to have some Guinness Irish stew. And that's the final product there. I got a nice piece of crusty bread on the side. Don't tell anybody, but sometimes I put ketchup on it. This is my 50 mission cap. I worked it in to look like that. So I'm going to make some corned beef and cabbage. Yes, I am, Mookie. So I usually use maple leaf corned beef. They have a nice brisket roast that's already in its own brine, but I had a dilly of a time finding it. So I just went to my butcher and got him to cut 2 1-inch thick slices of corned beef. Montreal smoked meat works really well with this dish too. So the corned beef and cabbage. I have some chicken stock that I made from episode 1 when I made the chicken long rice. So watch episode 1. You too, Mookie. So I just have it in a casserole dish. I'll add the corned beef to the liquid in the casserole dish. I'm going to cook it low and slow, so you can cook it like up to 6 or 7 hours, just till it's the meat's tender. And then I'm going to add the vegetables. I'm going to add onions, carrots, potatoes, and most importantly the cabbage. Now when you add the cabbage, you're going to have to add more liquid because the cabbage is just like a sponge. It's going to suck everything up. So Mookie and I, we're going to get the corned beef into the oven. We'll do probably 275 really low, and just cook it until the meats fall apart. So that's the veg that I'm going to cook in the liquid with the corned beef. I got the baby potatoes, some multicolored carrots. I'm going to dice up an onion, and of course the cabbage. Now I saw in Food Factor Fiction that actually the corned beef isn't really an Irish thing from Ireland. The Americans started celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and in New York they borrowed the corned beef from their Jewish neighbors. So that's the corned beef that's been cooked, and this is the final product. Segment is called Best Tropical Destination Stories. Mookie, tell the folks where to send their best tropical destination stories. That's right, Mookie. Send them to chappiness@yahoo.com. So here's another installment of Best Tropical Destination Stories. It comes from Bradley in Calgary, Alberta. It just says Trop Story. So it says, it was February 2005. My wife and I and another couple were taking a vacation to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. It was only a 7-day trip, and I fell deathly ill on day 2, along with the husband of my wife's friend. Now, you'll see later why he refers to him as the husband of his wife's friend, and I think later on he refers to him sarcastically as Buddy. So again, it was only a 7-day trip, and I fell deathly ill on day 2 along with the husband of my wife's friend. This was unlike any sick I had ever felt before. Severe fever, diarrhea, and vomiting. Prior to getting sick, we had booked and paid up front for an excursion to go snorkeling. No refunds. The snorkeling excursion was on day 3 when my buddy and I were at our sickest point. And being the cheap accountant that I am, I wasn't about to back out on the trip. The 4 of us set out with guides on a catamaran into the ocean. The Mr. Dress-Up Tinkle Trunk, I think it should be Tickle Trunk, but he calls it a Tinkle Trunk. The Mr. Dress-Up Tinkle Trunk of used snorkeling equipment did not appear sanitary, but we were sick already, so what did it matter? We grabbed our flippers and masks, followed the instructions of the guides, and plunged into the ocean. The cold water actually felt good when suffering from high fever. Buddy had been complaining about bad non-stop diarrhea, and I had to agree with him. There were no fish to be seen in the water, and it appeared to be a waste of time. When out of nowhere, Schools of brightly colored fish were surrounding Buddy, who was about 15 yards from me. He waved me over to where they were. Being fooled, I swam through an uncharacteristically murky water to get a better glimpse of the brightly colored fish. It was an amazing sight, and for the moment I had forgotten about being sick. It is hard to see somebody laughing underwater with a snorkeling mask on, but I was certain Buddy was laughing hysterically as he went up for air. We jumped back onto the catamaran, and this is where I found out the reason for the murky water and the volume of brightly colored fish was because Buddy could no longer hold in his explosive diarrhea and let it all out when he jumped into the water. He could not stop laughing as he had waved me over to swim through the flaky, runny turds to get a better glimpse of the ocean. The end. All right, as part of our St. Paddy's Day episode, I'm going to go scout out some bars, good places to hang out on St. Paddy's Day. I probably won't wear this because it's not actually St. Paddy's Day, so I'll look like an a-hole. But I'm going to take Mr. Murky Waters himself, and we're going to go have lunch over at Joyce on 4th in the Mission area of Calgary, Alberta. So coming up, Joyce on 4th in Calgary, Alberta. So that's just the outside part. I don't know if you could call that a patio, but there is some seating along the sidewalk, pretty narrow. It's definitely an Irish pub. I know this because it's printed on the side of the building. So we're just gonna go on inside and try out the food. So this is a Joyce on 4th in Mission. All right, so we're at the James Joyce Pub in Mission. I got my 50 Mission hat. So I'm going to order the chicken, leek, and bacon boxty. It's an Irish staple, a potato pancake filled with chunks of chicken, thick cut bacon, and leeks in a cream sauce, served with seasonal vegetables. Bradley is going to get the Big Pub Burger. It's a bestseller with bacon, pan-fried mushrooms, caramelized onions, choice of cheddar, mozzarella, or Swiss, with a custom burger sauce topped with lettuce, tomato, red onion, and pickle. So again, we're at the James Joyce Pub, enjoying a Guinness. So for happy hour, they have half-price appies. So you need a bucket of fries, pickled spears, dry ribs, stuffed Yorkie, flatbread, fish taco, or a Mediterranean dip. And that's every day from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So Joyce on 4th is really beautiful on the inside. After the 2013 floods, they had to renovate everything. And they did just a fantastic job cleaning it up. They got a lot of side rooms. And all that red upholstery is new from the 2013 renovation. That's the burger Brad ordered. And that's my chicken boxty. So, of course, Joyce on 4th is named after the Irish author James Joyce. So I definitely recommend the food here. It was fantastic. So I'm just, we got one of those little side rooms. And I'm just going to sit down and enjoy my Guinness beer and my chicken boxty. I got my day after St. Paddy's Day hangover breakfast. I diced up some potatoes, the corned beef, and the cabbage. And we're going to do a little corned beef and hash with the cabbage. So that's going into a smoking hot cast iron skillet. I'll let that incorporate, and then I'll throw an egg in there. Alright, so I got my sunny side egg in there, and my corned beef and hash is almost ready to go, so I'm going to plate it. Alright, so there is my corned beef and hash with cabbage and a sunny side egg and a side of toast. Top of the morning to you. So I'm going to make a Hawaiian breakfast, but I'll do a St. Paddy's Day spin on it. So I'll do green eggs and Spam Hawaiian style. So a typical Hawaiian breakfast is just Spam, rice, and eggs. When I was in Honolulu, you could actually go to McDonald's and for breakfast order rice, Spam, and eggs. So that is a typical Hawaiian breakfast. Now, for the St. Paddy's Day, I'm going to do the green eggs and Spam. Now, on the TV show The Kitchen, I saw they made green eggs, and they actually took some cabbage and they put it in the microwave with a little bit of water, and got the liquid from the cabbage and added it to the egg whites, and there was a chemical reaction and turn the eggs green. So I'm going to give that a try. I don't know if it'll work or not. So as a backup, I'm going to put food coloring on my Spam. So I just have some Spam here, and I got some green food coloring, and I'm just going to dust on the green food coloring on my Spam. You may have saw the Jollibee episode where I cooked with Spam, so I'm cooking with Spam again. Alright, so my Spam is nice and green. Now here's that chemical reaction thing that I was talking about. So I took cabbage, I microwaved it with water, and I got this blue liquid. Now supposedly when you put the blue liquid with the egg whites, it's going to turn green when you cook it. We will see. And then also on the kitchen, what they did is they separated the yolk from the egg whites. So we're just going to make the egg whites green. So I'm going to attempt to separate the yolk and the egg white. Alright, so I have the egg white separate, and then I'm going to just add 2 teaspoons of the blue liquid, which will supposedly turn it green. Alright, it looks like it's already kind of turning green. Okay, we're going to fry it up and give it a try. So that's my Hawaiian breakfast green eggs and Spam. Alright, so I got the Spam going. I have the egg separated from the yolk with the cabbage water in the egg. So we're just going to put the whites in first. Okay, I'm going to gently add the yolk to the green eggs. Alright, now my rice standing by. Well, it's sort of a greenish hue. I'm glad I put the food coloring on the Spam because the eggs aren't completely green, but they do have a greenish hue on it. So I'll let this finish cooking, and then we're going to plate it. Alright, so Mookie and I are just going to tuck into my green eggs and Spam Hawaiian breakfast. We really did enjoy going to the Joyce on 4th pub with Brad. Did you hear, Mookie? I got so drunk that I had to take the bus home, which is strange because I've never driven a bus before. Ha! All right, so thanks for watching my St. Paddy's Day episode. Get your ties straight, Mookie. If you enjoyed it, give me a like and make sure you subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Chappy's Tiki Bar. Watch for my upcoming Trooper episode where I do the ultimate tribute to Trooper. That'll be coming out next week. All right, so thanks for watching Chappy's Tiki Bar and make sure you subscribe.